Good afternoon, people. Thank you so much for tuning in at the Voices podcast. My name is Arafat. Today in the studio, I'm joined by one of our African men, an African child, Mr. Chaluma Chingagwe from Malawi, but currently pursuing his studies in England. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon, man.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you.
How is life, bro?
Life is just good.
Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm liking the environment. I like the city.
You like the city?
Yeah, sure.
You like Kigali?
I like Kigali
so much. Wow. Oh, I'm putting words in you.
No. I really like it. Maybe you want to see it on my face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you like the city so much.
I like the city so much.
What impressed you much? In Rwanda, since the day you touched down on ground?
I think basically it's on the development side.
Mm-hmm.
The roads, the buildings.
Mm.
They're just spectacular.
Spectacular.
Yeah, so well designed. I can easily move around. Well demarcated. Well named streets. This is a sign of development. You're far ahead, man.
Really?
Sure.
When you say that, sometimes for people who have traveled, they can easily see what you're saying. But for people who live here, that have lived here since the development started, maybe two decades ago, they can't really see what you're talking about. But for people who have traveled, I've not traveled much, but at least I've moved to more than maybe 7 countries. And I've seen that when you have something back home, you never appreciate it. When you go to some other countries, be it neighboring countries of ours, roads are not demarcated like these ones. You find that the streets are, dirty. They're not nice. For that, then I will agree with you that what you're saying is true. But what were your expectations? When you were coming from Malawi, you come from England. You came directly from England to here.
Sure.
But of course, you've been to Malawi recently.
Yeah.
What were your expectations in Kigali? What you've been hearing about saying about Kigali and all that?
So basically, the issues that are going around about Kigali, it's about the clean energy. It's about the construction. We are talking about roads. We are talking about buildings. We are talking about beautiful people. The Rwandese, of course, beautiful ladies and stuff. So that has been my expectation to see how beautiful the city is in terms of roads, buildings. I'm really impressed.
You're really impressed?
Yeah. Sure.
So what you've been hearing, did you see that? The things they've been telling you, is it real?
Since I came here, I've been moving around. I was very curious.
Very curious to see.
Yeah, so I'm really impressed. You guys are actually doing fine. Because when you look at the roads, they're wonderful, they're spectacular. Look at the buildings, even the new constructions. You really see that you're up to something big.
Really?
Yeah. So for an African country, this is big. You have a well-designed city. That's beautiful.
Should we say is somehow closer to the place where you stay now? Did you see? Comparing Kigali and let's say your capital city in Malawi, remind me the name is
Lilongwe.
Lilongwe. And maybe some parts of England. I don't know where you stay in England because England is big.
Yeah.
Do you see something that might be a difference or a similarity or something better off than where you come from that you've seen here?
All right. I think first I have to talk about Lilongwe. My capital city, my beloved city.
Your beloved city. Yeah, you should love your country. You should love your capital city.
That's where I come from.
Yeah.
Lilongwe is quite different from Kigali. Lilongwe is highly scattered. You don't find the whole town located in the same place. It's highly scattered. You move in some places where maybe it's bush, there are no buildings and stuff. You go to another place. But this is quite different from here. Because when you enter Kigali, you are in Kigali. Wherever you go, you are moving within the city.
Within the city
of Kigali.
Okay.
And this is very important because it will really give you a picture of what really it is. And if you have an opportunity to see somewhere in a building, try to look at the city. Yeah, you really feel like I'm within the city. About maybe about where I'm staying. Basically, I'm staying in Portsmouth, which is the southeastern part of England. Yeah. I would say that you are really working hard. You are putting much effort into your development. But I think I wouldn't say that
it's somehow close to
you're
that.
somehow close to, because
Okay.
it's on the other level. But when you look at Africa, I think you are doing very, very fine. And as an African, I'm actually proud of it.
I mean, you've been here now 3 days, 2 days?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
How has been your interaction with Rwandan people? I mean, you've met some people and you've talked to some and you've engaged in a conversation with some. How has it been?
It's been nice because wherever I go, like I talk to people, they are free to talk to me. We interact on personal level. If maybe it's about direction, they're free to give you a direction without any hurdles, without any emotions. I feel like they are aware of what you are going or what you are doing as Ugandans. Everyone is just aware where you are moving from and where you are going. So it's really fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
So on the side of the treatment, have you received, like something you would call an extra treatment, like people are giving you much care? I don't know. Just, I'm trying to know, have you received some nice treatment around beyond what you expected?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because you've moved to more African countries, I think you've seen how people treat each other, and then you might compare it with here, like on the side of people, even where you're staying at a hotel.
Yeah, sure. I think when I went to the hotel, it was so nice the way actually they welcomed me. I know the people that provide accommodation, they're supposed to be friends and stuff, but then I think their enthusiasm stood out for me. I feel very welcome, and when I moved around the cities, it was just nice because it seems like everyone was minding their own business.
Oh, really? Like that?
So that would give you an idea of how disciplined these people are when it comes to their country. Yeah.
Is there anything like Rwandan culture or food or style that has stood out for you that you think, if worth it, you would take it back home or you would advise someone else, to take over?
Okay. I think there's just one thing that I've actually noted about Rwandans. It's about the discipline. Okay, you move around in places. Even where I'm in England, you sit close to somebody, you have a conversation. By the end of the day, they'll begin to maybe complain about the economy. They complain about this and that. But since I came here, it seems like everyone is actually comfortable, right? They wouldn't complain about politics. They wouldn't. I was like, come on. People always complain, even where I come from. You have a short conversation, but maybe at the center point, they complain about everything.
Something.
But you people seems like you are really happy about your country. You are proud about your country, and this is very important because that's what actually builds the perception of your country to foreigners, to people who visit Rwanda, like myself.
Wow.
So I really like that because what it means is everyone is taking a personal responsibility to make sure that Rwanda becomes what each one of you wants it to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
So really, that is wonderful, bro.
Yeah.
Ourselves who live here, we don't take that serious, but I think it's really a very important thing. So, brother, we were talking about, you were telling me about how people don't complain about their country, don't complain about politics or things that are not going well. no one is perfect. So as there's no country that does everything well for its people, we can't say that it's 100%. There are things the government might be envisioning for the country, and for the start, people complain, this is not good, this is not going to be helpful, this is not helping us and all that. I mean, those things are going to be there. But as you said, when you trust your government and when you trust what your leaders are doing, I think it's what you're seeing now. So for me, I take it like that. I think it's because people have a lot of trust for what the government is doing.
And that's very important. That's very crucial.
Yeah.
Involvement, yeah.
Because I think they've seen it happening and they've seen a lot of things coming up after all. Because, the government might, come up with a policy and say, we want to, migrate you from this place and we're going to construct maybe an apartment here or maybe a government institution here or maybe we're going to extend the road. And of course, as someone who owns that place, you will complain. You'll say, no, I want also to stay here. This is my home. I want to stay within the city. But you're forgetting that even that road is necessary. And it's not going to be used by only you and not only by the government. It's a road that is going to be used by everyone in the country. So it's like denying that plot of land for the road to pass there, you're denying the whole country to develop.
Yeah.
And we never take that serious. Such things happen and we complain. And of course, at the end, you're going to be compensated. You're not just being pushed away from there without giving you compensation.
Yeah.
So I think most of our people here have come to understand that we need to trust our government. We need to trust what is going on.
That's incredible.
So how is it the other side?
On the other side, yeah, of course, we're trying as a country to make sure that we move forward, to make sure that we see development and to see that our lives are actually changing. Yeah, so, but then the issue is about the culture. So I think maybe our main problem as a nation is the mentality that we expect much from the government, right? The government has its role. As a citizen, I also have my role to play. And we needed to balance up as citizens to say, as the government is doing its part, I should also be doing my part. But it's quite the contrary because we expect much from the government. By the end of the day, we end up being disappointed people. But is it that what we want for the common good? So I think we really need to move to a point where we need to have just move from a small picture to a greater picture, where we're saying whatever we are doing, we should do them to support the government. We should be able to have time to understand what the government is trying to achieve and make ourselves available for that. I think that will actually help us a lot. Otherwise, we may just remain stagnant in terms of development. Yeah, sure.
Actually, I like that because now you're speaking directly to the youth because, we young people, we are the ones now to take the lead. If we don't take the lead in such things that you're talking about, like understanding the government, I really like that word. I like how you brought it, like understanding and working together with the government and supporting the government and playing your role as a citizen is very key. And I believe, for me, I have a feeling that everyone can do something to have a country
that's true
move from one step to another. If you see a kid on the street, you can reach out to them. Street kids. If you reach out and if you go somewhere and find a kid on the street and reach out and ask, what's happening? Why are you here? Why did you end up here? And then you may end up the kid giving you a story that actually your intervention would lead to have this kid go back home.
Yeah.
And you never know, this kid might tell you, you know what, I left home because my father was, there's a lot of violence at home. Maybe we don't eat.
Yeah.
Because some kids come on streets because of such simple things.
Yeah, sure.
And then you find that had you talked to this kid, you'd actually help the kid to go and talk to the parents or maybe take him back home. And that is a big role you're playing, and no one is taking it serious. I mean, because if you remove one kid from the street, I mean, you never know. You are removing a minister from the street.
Yeah, sure.
You never know. It's a government official. You're helping.
You're
to
moving
go
a
back.
general.
You're moving a general.
I'm a commander.
I'm a commander. I mean,
You see, yeah,
the future of tomorrow. So
is uncertain.
that is a great role that everyone can pray. Moving from that, I mean, on each and everything that you think is hindering the development of a country, if you do that, what you do one small thing, but in the future you never know what it turns to. So I like that, bro. I like that.
Yeah.
So what would be your simple advice to, I mean, you've moved to England, you're seeing what is happening in England, and what do you think is lacking here on our continent, mostly that some young people outside of here that are doing, or where you study from, how is the culture there? What is it are you learning there that we can also embrace and take here in Africa?
I think one of the central issues is discipline. Yeah, so people tend to focus. People are really committed to their cause.
I like
so,
that.
By the end of the day, you wake up, you're really supposed to know what you're supposed to do. This is what I'm actually focusing on, and this is what I'm supposed to do. If it's about education, you attend your education. It's about work, you're committed to your work. So it's not just a life where you just wake up and you don't know what to do. But it needs, you're supposed to know what is it that I'm actually doing. So that actually, it's discipline. I think that's one of the things that we usually lack here, because maybe we've been brought up in societies where we don't value independence. Because like in the UK...
What do you mean by independence? Standing on your own? And
standing on your own. So like in the UK, what I noted was the people, the youth are always looking for independence. Now to do that, they're supposed to have something to do. Either their studies or work. So by the end of the day, they're able to do whatever they want to do, but responsibly, without harming the greater society. So I think as Africa, as the youth, I think we really need to learn how to focus on things so that by the end of the day, we move forward and never backslide. Yeah, sure.
So you think because of... is it kind of like comforty? We grow up in the comfort and we feel like everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen. You know, I don't need to put my...
Basically, it's because I think our culture creates a dependency syndrome.
Dependency syndrome?
A dependency syndrome, because...
What is that?
You always think like it's somebody's responsibility to take care of you, even as you actually grow.
Oh, wow.
Right? But
your parents, your older brothers, your...
Yes, but on the other side of the world, the youth look forward to moving away from their parents to stand on their own. Yes, from independence, from dependence to independence, to live on their own. But in Africa, you find like somebody is 40 years old and he's still staying with their parents. And they are the parents that are actually responsible for this person. I mean, how?
But also, I think however much young people are to blame, I don't know, I have a feeling also that our parents have part of the blame. Because, why would you really have your kid of 30 years old at home? And, of course, as a parent, you can't chase him away, but because this is how we grow up, this is how at least everyone is treating their kids. I think now parents need to know that you're actually creating a problem. if you let the kids stay there at home at that age, come on. You need to, I think parents also need to learn that. Ever much, also young people need to know that you can't be at your parents' home at 25. I mean, what are you doing? You're supposed to be a graduate, looking for a job outside there, or maybe having one, or maybe coming up with a startup. And so you mean up there, young people work hard, not to depend on anyone.
Yeah. In fact, they just look forward to a life where they're just far from home. I mean, doing their own stuff and trying to figure out how their life will be. So that's very important because that doesn't create a burden on the society. You know, like parents taking care of you for 40 years.
Oh my God.
That's a very big burden for the parents. Because by the end of the day, you are supposed to strive to make sure you are independent. In fact, you are supporting even your parents. You know, the African
There's
culture.
this guy in, I think he's a motivational speaker. I don't remember the name. He was called Jay Shetty. I was like, there's one interview where he was saying like, at 40, in the US or in these other developed countries like England or UK, you're supposed to have, at least you are supposed to be left with only 10 years to work and go in retirement. You see?
Yeah.
And at 40 in Africa, someone is still living with a parent.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the world, someone is preparing to retire.
Retire.
So this means the guy has really accumulated everything he wants.
Yes.
And now he's ready to sit down and let money work for itself.
Yeah.
And also eat money, live a life,
Yeah.
go do vacations, enjoy life.
Yeah.
And at the same age here, that's when I'm thinking of moving out of my parents' home. Crazy.
That's too bad for us.
Really. What should we do? Because now, bro, we are giving birth to kids, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
We are giving birth to kids. You are giving birth to kids. I am, and many other people in our age category, you know. But what should we be telling our kids seriously? What can we do as parents who now know that is a problem?
I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Wonderful and Hillary. Over the past 6 months, I've been trying to be a different parent. My son is 13. My daughter is...
Your son is?
13.
13?
My daughter is 9.
Wow.
So I was trying to figure out that what should I do for my son to make sure that by the time he's 18, he shouldn't just think of going to university, but that by that age, he should have a skill. That even if he doesn't go to university.
When he turns 18, you're saying when he turns 18?
When he turns 18.
You want him to have a skill?
To have a skill.
Whether he decides to go to normal schooling or
whether
not.
it's about the mechanics, whether it's about the IT skills, whatever, but he's supposed to have a skill. That at that age, when he's done with high school, even if he doesn't go to university, he can be able to stand on his own and have something to do using his skill. Yes.
Is this something you're learning from UK or you've seen around that is helping young people to...
Yeah, so what I've actually noted is that on the other side of the world, children are empowered based on their strength.
I like that.
Not based on what the parents want their kid to become.
Like here we have that norm where if my father studied law, I have to study law. If let's say he studied medicine, I have to go to the same school. So that is not happening that side.
Yeah. You know, it's not a cardinal point that you've gone to a medical school and then your son also should go to medical school. So much as we are different people, we can do different things in the right way. So to me, as a father, I stay with my children. I study them. I know their weaknesses and I know their strengths. And I know where they can excel well. I think that's where I'm supposed to invest. Not like I did business administration. and I'm currently pursuing a Master of Science Forensic Investigation. But I wouldn't say
Masters of Science in
Forensic Investigation.
Okay, cool.
But I wouldn't say that my son should also be a detective just like me. I would do work on their strength. My son is good at, electronics and stuff. So that's the area that I'm supposed to support him.
To empower him to go and at least have a skill around
have
that.
a skill about that he can be able to stand in his own in the next even 5 years. As fast as possible. Without really concentrating much on the university education and stuff. That can happen. He can do that if he works hard. But by the end of the day, we are supposed to make sure that as they grow, they develop a skill, which will make them independent people. And that's, I think, what is lacking in Africa. Because what happens is you find somebody is 25, he doesn't have any skill. But this person is supposed to earn a living.
You're right.
Employment rate for most of the countries in Africa, unemployment rate is just too high. So I think we better change in the way we develop our children. We need to make sure by the end of the day they have a skill, even before they go to university. Yeah, that's my thought.
As a parent, you've just said that of recent you've turned to focus more on your kids and seeing what they can do before they turn maybe 18 or even below that.
Yeah.
How do you identify that? I mean, how do you identify a strength and a weakness from your kid? Because this is something that many people are going to tell you that they can't easily identify. Because today, when you look at how we are busy, very, very busy. I mean, I think some of us, we tend to just be busy, but you can't be busy and fail to get time for your kids. But it's really kind of very, very complex for many people who don't often be with their kids on a daily basis. I mean, I go to work, I leave work at around 6, if not at 7, go back home, tired, go bath, and then sit in the sitting room maybe for just 2 hours or 1 hour. And it's time to sleep. My kids, maybe they have gone to sleep. So it happens like that for a whole year, 300 and something days. So I'll literally have like 1 hour for my kids for a whole day. How do I identify this? Would you give us some tips or tricks on how to identify what your kid can do so that maybe you can help them channel into that skill before things go worse?
I think there are several ways. One of them is to study their academic results. That one is also very paramount because that one also gives you a clear picture of their strength. Are they good at mathematics? Are they good at English? Are they good at local language? So from that point, you can also be able to come up with, say, okay, the way I have understood or analyzed my child is maybe good at sciences. So you know what that means. The other issue is, the culture that you have doesn't promote creativity. Because if you find your child today that is trying to open your radio, you'll be very furious. Right? You'll be very furious, but that's a curiosity that they actually have.
He wants to know what is inside.
Yes.
What is speaking?
What is it? Right?
I like
so,
that.
By the end of the day, you find that this person is not interested in the kitchen. Is always interested in, suppose, electronics. Opening up, trying to understand. So, that kind of curiosity is what you can actually develop and support. Because that's where their passion is. There are others that would like to be, in the kitchen, begging and stuff. And, you can also support them in that area.
Of course.
Okay? There are others where they're just good at communicating. You see? Communicating, talking, whenever there are people, they're making stories and stuff. That's what they're good at. Storytelling, comedy. There are some they're just good at football. They can never miss a football game. They are always there like that. But I need a football. I need to play around. They are always there. So we really need to. It doesn't matter how long you stay with your children. But I think by the end of the day, as a father, you're supposed to take a deliberate step to understand the strength and the weaknesses of your child, so that by the end of the day, you come up with a very capable strategy of equipping them with a skill for their independence.
Wow, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So you think if we can do that for this, I mean, in our age, we would build a better Africa in times to come?
Yes.
Would that be the solution to unemployment, perhaps?
Yeah. So the skill that we're talking about is putting somebody on self-employment. And you know, if somebody is self-employing, can also create
Jobs for more.
jobs for more. So we are trying to solve a problem from a single point of view of a single person. But this person is becoming a solution and not a problem. So I think through that, we can tackle issues of unemployment, issues of crime, because this person is busy and is also creating job for others who are also busy. They don't have time for committing crimes. So by the end of the day, even their families are better off. They'll also be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of their children. Eventually, we become a changed society.
I like that, man.
Yeah, so I believe that that's very paramount, and we really need to do that as Africa. Yeah, sure.
So, my brother Chaluma,
That's
I've heard you doing forensic investigation studies in England.
Yeah.
Are you? But did you study bachelor's back home in Malawi?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you're doing masters
Yeah,
in
I'm
forensic
doing master,
investigations.
Yeah, sure.
What do you do with forensic investigation? I mean, how is it? Can you tell us more about that career, and are you practicing it back home or maybe in England or?
So basically, the forensic investigation it's centered on collection of forensic evidence. We are talking about DNA evidence, foot marks, footprints. Those are the things that we are actually focusing on, how to collect them, how to present them by actually following the rule. That's the center of the course. But then we also have what we call crime science.
Crime science.
Yeah, so in crime science, you are trying to understand the science of crime so that you come up with interventions that instead of waiting for people to commit crimes, you should come up with interventions that people should not commit crimes.
What are some of those?
Yeah, so we are looking at the enforcement of community policing. Okay, those ones. What you are saying is we are bringing, or we are trying to put a guardian to the society that is watching, so that when somebody wants to commit a crime, they should know that somebody is watching. Use of CCTVs.
And the consequences are going to be there.
Yes, are going to be there. The use of CCTVs. So we are saying we want to see who is committing crime. And if somebody who wants to commit, they will know that there is CCTV. Eventually, they will not what? Commit a crime. So that's purely crime science.
So crime science deals with also this putting in place CCTVs.
Yeah, CCTVs, the community policing, maybe interventions of different countries, sharing of information. Yeah, it goes deeper, of course, to understand the person, the criminal. So from that standpoint of understanding, and come up with interventions to make sure that this person doesn't commit crime.
So, we are one of the best when it comes to forensics. I think around. I know we are among the best. Have you visited our forensic laboratories?
I know.
Are you here for that also?
In general, I would say that you are doing fine, because the crime rate for Rwanda is 4%, and that's very incredible. Because
compared to
other countries, like even in our country, you go to South Africa. I mean, the crime rate is just too high. But 4% is just like there is no crime at all. Okay? Because what it means, the criminal incidences.
Would you be knowing the exact number of crime rate in Malawi and in UK?
No, I wouldn't be very specific.
Okay,
but I would just give you a picture.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so in the UK, it just depends on the city where you live. But in my city, the city of Portsmouth, it's a free city. You rarely hear incidences of criminal acts and stuff. You move around during the night without any fear. You are just a free person. But I understand there are some places where the crime rate is noticeable.
But you are saying our crime rate is almost like no crimes.
Crime rate is 4% is just like nothing. What it means is the society is just free. People can move around at any time of the day, during the night. You're just free. So that also has an impact on the development. Because you're supposed to learn things 24 hours. And nothing will stop you from working even during the night. Because you are a free nation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for Malawi, I think when it comes to forensics, we've done we have done several things. We've taken steps to make sure that at least we are also well versed in this area. Yeah, but I think we haven't done a lot, but we're still doing it, and I think we are going there. For one, I think you are really doing fine. I had some conversation where I was just getting a picture of some of the things that are happening, especially focusing on the youth in terms of innovation. This is very commendable. And I think that's the right direction that nations should take to make sure that those that have ideas are supported.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's incredible.
I like that, bro.
Sure.
So as we wind up, if you had to convince someone from Malawi to visit Rwanda, what would you tell them? And what would you consider making Rwanda a second home? Would you consider making Rwanda a second home?
Yeah, I would consider really to make Rwanda a second home.
Really?
Yeah. I think on the development side, you are really doing great. So that translates to opportunities. It means you are trying to build your nation. So that act of building, it translates into opportunities.
Sure.
In the construction, in which field you are, because you are trying to grow in all the areas. So what it means is you also need skills, and that is an opportunity for us. So, and to at least if somebody visits Rwanda, they'll take a lot of things. They will know how beautiful roads are supposed to be, the good life, the beauty of the people, that kind of things. Yeah, people really need to come here and see how things are actually doing.
So would you convince your friends to visit Rwanda?
Yes, of course.
That's what you're going to do.
In fact, if I was convinced myself to come here, it was because I've heard a lot of beautiful stories about how Rwanda is trying to do it. And then I said, no, let me go and appreciate how our friends are trying to be united to achieve a common goal of developing their nation. Because we not just supposed to think about today. Let's have a long-term plan. That what kind of a country will we live for our children? That's very paramount. And I think we're taking the right direction.
Well, I mean, any last words you would want to say when we come to conclusion? Anything that you think you wanted to tell people out in Rwanda and even from where you come from?
Yeah, I think my first, I think, should go to the Rwandese. You are incredible people. Since I came here, there has never been a point where I was like, why did I come here?
Wow.
I find everything fascinating.
Really?
And I have really enjoyed my stay here. I'm leaving tomorrow, so by the time I'll be leaving, I'm fully satisfied that, what I expected to see in Rwanda, it is. The people outside Rwanda, I encourage them to visit Rwanda. Learn three things about Rwanda, because Rwanda is becoming a big thing, right, in Africa. Even if you look at the GDP, that also should give you an idea of what Rwanda is actually doing. And we can learn a lot from its leadership. We can learn a lot from its people. We can learn a lot how they are handling things. How are they developing? What's the secret of their development? That's very important because each one of us as Africa, we need to develop. We can't manage to remain the same. I think those are things that I would rather say. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Viewers of the Voices of Change podcast, we've been speaking to Mr. Chaluma Chingagwe from Malawi, who is a crime investigator, is now pursuing his studies in the UK to master his career in crime investigation. And he has talked a lot about Rwanda and about Malawi. So please, go check out our interview and take time, listen to it. It's really very nice. You're going to like it. And my brother, thank you so much for coming on the Voices of Change podcast.
Me in this podcast.
Thank you so much, brother.
I don't take it for granted.
We appreciate, bro. And we hope next time when you come back to Kigali, you're going to check on us and then we have more to speak about.
I'll definitely do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Sure.